Hi, I'm Vanessa from SpeakEnglishWithVanessa.com. Let's speak fast English. Let's talk about it. Let's imagine the scene. You have had a long, hard day at work, so you come home, sit down on the couch, you're ready to relax and watch the new English TV show or movie that you've been waiting to watch. You turn on the TV and oh my goodness. They're talking so fast. Can other people actually understand this? Is there some kind of secret? Do they know something that you don't know? Well, today you are going to learn what makes American English fast so that you can understand fast English and speak like an American yourself. To help you never forget what you've learned, I've created a free PDF worksheet that you can download for today's lesson. You will find all of the pronunciation points, sample sentences, and you can answer Vanessa's challenge question at the end of the worksheet. Make sure you click on the link in the description to download it now. In today's lesson, you will see my most popular videos about how to speak fast English so that you can speak fast too. Let's watch. After you watch this lesson, what are your plans? For me, I could say after this lesson, I am going to take a walk. When we talk about the future in English, we have two options. We can use will, I will take a walk, or I am going to take a walk. But is that the fastest way to say this sentence, I am going to take a walk? No. First, let's make a contraction out of the first two words. I am becomes I'm. I'm, and then the next two words is our first reduction. We can say, I'm gonna take a walk. What happened to the word to here? I'm gonna take a walk. The word to simply changed into a. I'm gonna take a walk. Make sure that when you use this reduction, you do not say, I'm gonna to take a walk, because we've already used the to when we change it into a. I'm gonna take a walk. Now I have a couple sentences that I'd like you to say out loud with me. Can you repeat these out loud with me? I'm gonna take a walk. He's gonna make a presentation. They're gonna bake a cake. Let's make those sentences negative. I'm not gonna take a walk. He's not gonna give a presentation. They're not gonna bake a cake. For reduction number 2, I have a question. Where is your dream location to visit? There are a lot of wonderful places in the world, but for me, I'm gonna say that I want to visit Norway. Is this the fastest way to say this sentence? I want to visit Norway? No. Let's make a lovely reduction and say, I wanna visit Norway. What happened to the word to here? Does this look familiar? The word to changed to a. I wanna visit Norway. The same as before, make sure that you do not say I wanna to visit Norway. Note, we've already changed the to into a. So you can simply say I wanna visit Norway. You probably know that in English we need the subject and the verb to agree. So that means we can say I want, she wants. There needs to be an S at the end. So can we use this reduction when we change the subject? Can we say she wanna visit Norway? No. Because of that S, we need to include it. She wants to visit Norway. We need to add that S. Now I have a few sentences that I want you to say out loud with me. Are you ready? I wanna visit Norway. They wanna come over today. If you'd like to know some other ways to use the word come, check out my video up here so that you can use that naturally. Let's make these sentences negative. I don't want to visit Norway. I don't know who would say that because that's kind of crazy. Who doesn't want to visit Norway? But let's say that negatively. I don't want to visit Norway. They don't want to come over to my house. For reduction number 3, I have a question. What do you need to do to improve your English skills? What do you need to do? There's a lot of things you could do, but if you wanna improve your English skills, You might say, I have to study every day. Is this the fastest way to say this sentence? I have to study every day. No. Let's make a reduction with the words have and to. I have to study every day. You might notice that when I wrote this out, the V changes to an F, but this is just because that's what it sounds like. When we use these reductions, they're always in spoken English or in really informal writing like a text message. So the way that you write it isn't so important. This isn't for formal papers or formal exams. So I wrote that F just to remind you that it does sound like an F. I have to study English every day. What happened to that little word to? Can you guess? I bet you can. You are an expert in this now. The word to becomes a. I have to study English every day. What about if we change the subject? I have to study. She has to study. The word she needs to agree with the verb has. She has. He has. Can we make this reduction? She has to study? Yeah, that's great. That's no problem. You can say, I have to study. She has to study. We have to study. Now I have a few sentences that I'd like you to say with me. I have to study English every day. You have to take the test. She has to call her mom. Let's make them negative. I don't have to study every day. You don't have to take the test. She doesn't have to call her mom. What's happening here with the verb conjugation? Do you see that the word have is conjugated the same way for each of these? That's because we have the word do. The verb do has been added to these sentences, and that means that we conjugate the first verb. I don't. You don't. She doesn't. This makes it beautifully grammatically correct. For reduction number 4, I have a question. Before you cook a meal, what do you need to do? Before you cook a meal, what do you need to do? Well, before I cook a meal, I have got to go to the grocery store. I have got to buy some groceries. Groceries are food that you get at the store, but is this the fastest way to say this sentence? I have got to buy some groceries? No. Let's say, I gotta buy some groceries. I gotta buy some groceries. The full verb phrase, I have got to, is extremely strong in English. We rarely use this because it's so strong. You might use this for life or death situations. You have got to wear a seatbelt. You have got to look both ways when you cross the street. But for daily life, for buying groceries, we don't need to use that strong expression. So we can reduce this to say, I gotta buy groceries, and it makes it much less strong, but it still shows something that you need to do. What in the world is happening with these verbs? I have got to buy some groceries. I gotta buy some groceries. Well, let's review some of the things that we've talked about. Often the word to becomes a. I gotta. So we have the word to changing to that sound. But what's happening with have? It's gone, completely gone. But here it is implied. The word implied means that we know it's there, we need it to be grammatically correct, but we don't say it. This is something that's implied or understood. When something's implied, for example, maybe you tell your boyfriend, I want you to tell me I love you more often. And he says, oh, well, I spend time with you, I help to cook meals with you. Of course I love you. I'm doing these things with you. My love is implied. My love is understood. I don't need to say it because you already know it. Maybe that's not okay with you. You still want him to say it, but that's the idea of implied. It's understood. You know it's there, but you don't necessarily see it or hear it. So you can naturally say, I gotta buy groceries. But what about if you change the subject? We've talked about the subject and the verb agreeing. Could you say, he gotta wake up early? No. Because we have the full verb phrase, he has got to wake up early, we need to include that S. This is similar to what we talked about with once. Here we need to say, he's gotta wake up early. So when we use gotta, the have part or the has is not implied, it's added. He's gotta wake up early. You can still use gotta, but you need that S. He's gotta wake up early. Let's say a few sentences together so that you can practice gotta. I gotta buy some groceries. What's happening with this pronunciation? In the middle of the word, there are two T's. These T's are going to change to a D sound in American English. This is a typical concept in American English that when you have a T and a vowel on both sides, the T is going to sound like a D. I gotta buy some groceries. This is the same for the word water, sweater, better. If you'd like to know some other concepts about how to use an American accent, you can click on this video up here. We go into depth into 5 specific things that you can do to sound more like an American English speaker. So let's say that sentence together. I gotta buy some groceries. You gotta chew with your mouth closed. It's considered polite. He's gotta wake up early. He's gotta. Let's see if we can make these sentences negative. Can you say, I don't gotta buy some groceries? Some people say this, but it's not considered proper English, so I don't recommend using this. Instead, when you want to use gotta in the negative form, we need to use the word need. I don't need to buy some groceries. You don't need to chew with your mouth closed. Maybe because there's no one else in the room, so they don't care. He doesn't need to wake up early. Let's go on to one final bonus reduction. My question for you is, what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now as you're watching this lesson? You might say, I'm trying to improve my pronunciation. I'm trying to improve my pronunciation. Is this the fastest way to say this sentence? Nope, nope, nope. You can say, I'm trying to improve my pronunciation. I'm trying to improve my pronunciation. Let's review some of those concepts we talked about to figure out what is happening with this reduction. The word to is going to change to trying to, But why is there an N added here? You might notice that with gonna and wanna, we've added an N and it just sounds and feels a little bit more natural to link those together. I'm trying to improve my pronunciation. You can't say I'm trya. It doesn't feel and sound as smooth. So we need to say I'm trying to improve my pronunciation. This is definitely for fast English, so if you're speaking slowly or kind of thinking about what you're saying, it's best to use the full expression, I'm trying to improve my pronunciation. In fact, that's the same for all of these reductions. If you need to speak slowly or you're not sure what you're going to say, you're taking your time, make sure to use the full expression. You don't want to say, I'm gonna. It's best to say, I'm going to. It feels more natural if you're speaking slowly to not use the reduction because the purpose of these reductions is to speak fast. So let's practice with try not. Can you say these sentences with me? I'm trying to improve my pronunciation. She's trying to take a nap. Do you see how all of those words are linked together? Trying to take a nap. She's trying to take a nap. They're trying to find their dog. They're trying to find their dog. When you use these reductions, it's great to link the words together quickly. Let's make these sentences negative. I'm not trying to improve my pronunciation, okay? She's not trying to take a nap. They're not trying to find their dog because he's right there. All right, did you get some pronunciation practice during this lesson? I hope so. Let's do a quick review and I'd like you to say these sentences out loud to practice your pronunciation and practice these natural reductions. I'm gonna study English every day. I wanna improve my speaking skills. I have to practice with Vanessa. I gotta remember these tips. I'm trying to use them right now. My first tip for speaking fast English is to use contractions. What are contractions? They're when you put two words together. I'd like to go is I would like to go. He's busy. He is busy. What are you doing? What are you doing? If you'd like some tips about how to pronounce 81 contractions, I made a video about that up here to help your pronunciation. But this first tip is the most simple. We'll talk about some more difficult tips later, and it's an easy way to speak quickly. I'd like to go. I would like to go. Do you see how we can speak quicker? Because we're cutting off all the sounds in the word would except for that final D. I'd like to go. Great. Let's go on to the second tip. My second tip for speaking fast English is to reduce these 4 common verbs. Gonna, wanna, gotta, have to. I'm gonna study English means I'm going to study English. That word to simply becomes a. I'm gonna study English. Or you might say, I wanna study English. Here we're changing want to wanna. Again, the word to changes to a. I wanna study English. Or maybe you would say, I gotta study English. Here we have a longer verb. I have got to study English becomes I gotta. I gotta study English. And then you might say, I have to study English. Have to, here again, to changes to a. I have to study English. Can you say these with me? I'm gonna study English. I wanna study English. I gotta study English. I have to study English. Beautiful sentences, and it's so fast. My third tip for speaking fast English is to reduce the word you when you're asking a question. We're going to talk about 3 common question words, and unfortunately, the word you reduces in a different way for each question. So listen carefully and let's check it out. The first question word is what. How can we reduce the question, what are you doing? What are you doing? We could reduce this to say, what you doing? Whatcha? Whatcha? It sounds like a CH sound here. And actually, we've cut out completely the word are, and the word you just becomes cha. What ya doing? You might notice too, extra tip, that the end of the word doing, that G, also gets cut out. What you doing? What you doing? So I end that word with an N. What you doing? What you doing? Oh, I'm teaching an English lesson. Oh, I'm studying English. I'm going to sleep. What you doing? What you doing? What you doing? Let's talk about the second WH question. Where you going? Where you going? Do you notice the same thing happening here with that ing at the end? Where you going? It ends with an N. But what is happening with the word you? Where ya? We just changed it to ya. Ya, not you, but ya. Where you going? And again, we cut out are. Where are you going? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? What about if you wanted to ask a polite question? Would you help me? Maybe you need some help in the office. You might ask this lovely question, would you help me? But if you want to say it fast, you could say, would you help me? Would you help me? Would you help me? Would ya? Ja. Instead of a ch sound, like we talked about before, what cha doing? Here instead, we are going to say ja. Would ya help me? Can you say that with me? Would ya? Would ya help me? Would you help me becomes would ya. Would you help me? Would you help me, please? Tips number 4, 5, and 6 include cutting off sounds. These are a little bit more tricky, so let's pay attention carefully. Tip number 4 for speaking fast English is to cut off the T at the end of words. Ooh, what about this sentence? I go out every night. I go out every night. Do you hear I go out every night? Nope. Instead, your tongue is at the top of your mouth. You're about to make the T sound, but no air goes through. So it's just stopped at the top of your mouth. I go out every night. I go out every night. If you would like to know some more common sentences in English that use this, we use this all the time, but you can check out this video I made up here about how to pronounce the most common sentences in English. I go out every night. Can you say that with me? I go out every night. Tip number 5 for fast English is to cut off the letter D at the end of words. Let's check out this sample sentence. I found a blue and white card. I found a blue and white card. I found a blue and white card. Maybe you found a blue and white card on the street and it was a birthday card that someone just threw out their window. I found a blue and white card. I found. The word ends in the letter N. I found a blue and white. Here the word and is being reduced. Just cut off that final D sound. I found a blue and white card. Card. This is a little bit different than the word car, I drive a car, because your mouth is making the shape of that D sound, but it's not making the vibrations happening. You're not actually making a D sound, but your mouth is making that shape. Card, card. My tongue is flat against the roof of my mouth to make the D, but it's not coming out. Card, card. Can you say that sentence with me? I found a blue and white card. I found a blue and white card. I found a blue and white card. My 6th tip for speaking fast English is quite advanced. It is to cut off the first sounds with a few pronouns. Him, his, her, and them. Let's look at a couple sample sentences. I think he's right. I think he's right. I think he's right. There's no H happening here. I thinky, thinky. Kind of sounds like you're saying thinky. I think he's right. Do you notice too, at the end of the word right, there's no T sound. I think he's right. I think he's right. I think he's right. We do this all the time. Let's go on to another pronoun. It's his turn. It's her turn. It's his turn. It's her turn. This one's a little bit weird, isn't it? The H at the beginning of his and her is cut off. We don't do this all the time, but it does happen often enough that you want to make sure you can understand when native English speakers are using it, and also so that you can use it yourself. It's our turn. It's her turn. It's his turn. Is turn. It's his turn. It's his turn. We're not saying it's his turn. It's his turn. It's his turn. It's her turn. It's her turn. It's her turn. Great. What about the word them? I listen to him. I listen to him. The word them has the TH cut out, and instead you're saying I listen to him. Maybe if someone asks about some music that you like, you might say, oh yeah, I listen to him. I listen to I listen to him. This is quite casual, and we use it a lot in daily conversation. I listen to him. Can you say that with me? I listen to So we need to reduce some pronouns as we're speaking. Him, his, her, them. My 7th tip for speaking fast English is specific to American English. It is to change a T sound to a D sound. You might have noticed that we've done a lot with T's and D's, cutting them off at the end of words, and here we're changing them for each other. So when we say a word like the word better, water, do you hear better, water? No. In American English, a T that's between two vowel sounds, it doesn't always have to be a vowel, but between two vowel sounds is going to change to a D. Better, water. Let's look at a sample sentence. The sweater is better. I like water. Sweater, notice that T is between two vowels. Is better, it's between two vowel sounds. I like water, it's also between two vowels. But what if we take it up a notch? These T's in the next sample sentence are also between vowel sounds, but it's not so clear. Put it in the desk. Put it in the desk. We have a lot of D sounds. Put it in. Put it in. What's happening with that T at the end of the word put? Well, it's a T between two vowels, even though there's two separate words. Put it in. And the word it is between two vowels, even though it's two separate words. So I know this can be a little bit tricky, but you're going to hear native speakers use this all the time, so make sure you can do it too. Can you say it with me? Put it in. Put it in. Put it in the desk. 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 Do you see how that makes it much faster? Because instead of spending the time to let the air come out of your mouth, your tongue is just tapping the top of your mouth to make a D. Put it in. Put it in. Instead of put it in. It makes it a lot faster. Are you ready for a final challenge sentence? It's going to combine so many of these 7 tips and it's going to challenge your mind and your pronunciation muscles. Our sentence is, I'm going to eat his food and it'll taste great. Whew, pretty fast. Let's break it down. I'm gonna. Remember those reductions we talked about at the beginning of this lesson? We have a contraction, I am, and then we're reducing going to become gonna. I'm gonna, eat is. Here, the final T is changing to a D. But why is it changing to a D if the next word doesn't start with a vowel? Well, do you remember that we need to cut off the H for the word his? So instead, it sounds like a vowel, is, eat is. So let's change that T to a D and make sure that you cut off the H. Eat is. Can you say that with me? Eat is. Eat is food. Food? What happens to that final D? We just cut it off. Food, and we're cutting off the next D. It'll taste great. It'll. What is happening with this contraction? Well, when we say the contraction it will, we kind of add a little U sound before the L. It kind of sounds like U-L-L. It'll. So here we have 2 vowel sounds, even though we don't see them, similar to before, eat is. So here we have it'll. It'll taste. Here we're cutting off the T. Great. And we're cutting off the T again. It'll taste great. Can we go back and say this full challenge sentence together? Let's give it a try. I'm gonna eat his food and it'll taste great. So much going on here. Let's try to say it fast. I'm gonna eat his food and it'll taste great. I'm gonna eat his food and it'll taste great. I'm gonna eat his food and it'll taste great. Ooh, great. I hope that you can say this sentence by yourself. Use those pronunciation muscles and challenge yourself. Congratulations on speaking real English with fast, natural, reduced pronunciation. Don't forget to click on the link in the description to download the free PDF worksheet for today's lesson. Never forget what you've learned. Well, thank you so much for learning English with me. I will see you again next Friday for a new lesson here on my YouTube channel. Bye! The next step is to download the free PDF worksheet for this lesson. With this free PDF, you will master today's lesson and never forget what you have learned. You can be a confident English speaker. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for a free English lesson every Friday. Bye!